Dungeons, Dungeons, Dungeons. That's what we're talking about today on this episode of Two Cows Gaming. We are going to dig into Raid Shadow Legends and how important dungeons are to your account. Without further ado, let's go. Hey, Two Cows Gaming fans. So it is episode 4, Dungeons, Dungeons, Dungeons. That's what we're talking about today. The focus of today's episode is going to be building different types of dungeon teams to advance your account and to farm certain items. So to start off with, why are dungeons so important? In the early game of Raid Shadow Legends, which is what we're talking about, so sorry, veteran players, this is more of a tutorial for beginners. Dungeons are the best place to get artifacts because they're the only places you really have access to. So we'll go over to the dungeon tab right here. And there's a couple different types of dungeons. There are potion keeps. Well, actually, we'll start over here. These are the Iron Twins. They don't unlock until level 42. That's how you gain coins to purchase Awakened Soul Shards for your champions. Then you have your Potion Keeps. That's this kind of cluster right in here. Spirit Keep, Magic Keep, Force Keep, and Void Keep. Those are all the different affinities. And then you have the Arcane Keep, which is kind of like your neutral keep, where you get your white potions from. Next one over is Minotaur's Labyrinth right here. That's where you get mastery scrolls, and you need to collect a whole bunch of mastery scrolls for your different champs to give them kind of edges in combat. You know, if you want to build a nuker, or you want to build a pure support, or if you want to build a pure defense, masteries kind of help you give them that little push to get them over the edge. And then we get into the main area of dungeons. So you have this, which is the event dungeon. That's fairly new. We just got done with the Asgard Divide event, and you would farm that dungeon for pinpoint artifacts. The main boss in all of the levels was Odin. That event ended, and now we're just kind of waiting to see what the next event dungeon is going to be. Up here is the Ice Golem's Peak. That's where we're going to be spending most of our day today, so I'll spend some more time with that in a little while. You have Spider's Den. That's where you get your accessories like your rings, your amulets, and your banners. Those are very important for your champs because they really zoom in or hone in on specific kind of traits. For example, amulets are really important if you can get them to be critical damage based. But we'll delve into the Spider's Den at a different date for a different video and kind of explain how you farm that one, because it's a very unique dungeon in the way that it presents itself. Dragon's Lair. I spent some time in a previous video about how this is the most accessible dungeon, and we did some farming in there. And then you have Fire Knight's Castle here. This is probably, of all of the dungeons, the toughest one, because the Fire Giant has a big shield that you got to break through to actually damage him. So there's different strategies to take on the Fire Knight. You can't just go one team fits all against him. You actually have to make a team with a specific purpose. So that will be addressed in a different video as well, because it's such a interesting dungeon, the way the mechanics work. And then the last two dungeons over here on the right are Sand Devil's Necropolis and Phantom Shogun's Grove. You get potions that you can use for your artifacts to upgrade them and ascend them, much like you ascend your champions. Those don't unlock until level 38, and level 38 for both of them. So we will have to revisit that at a future video, because this is my beginner account. So we're just going to focus on beginner stuff here today. So we're going to jump into Ice Golem's Peak. Now, I did do some homework away from the video to get some champs ready for what's going on. The cool thing about This dungeon is, you get one of the most important early game artifacts here, which is critical rate. Um, Critical rate is very important for your nukers, be they single target nukers, HP nukers, or defense nukers. You need to have your critical rate over 100%, but not so far over 100% that it's ridiculous. You want to get it as close to 100%, like 101, 103, 104, that's fine. But anything beyond that is just not necessary. 100% is 100%. But you also can get provoke armor and cursed armor. Cursed armor right here puts a hex debuff on all of any enemy struck by this, that allows damage to be shared among all of the other enemies on the screen. But you have champs that can achieve the same thing. So it's an early game armor. You don't need it quite as much late game. Provoke is very nice. If you don't have a provoker, you have a percentage chance to place a provoke on any attack. So it'll force that enemy to target whatever champ is wearing the provoke armor. So those are kind of three of the big ones. Reflex is kind of nice too. You have a 40% chance to reduce a random skill cooldown. Big deal for revivers early game, because you may not have the books to get them where they need to be so that their cooldown is like 3 turns. So what this does is it gives you a chance to get that extra cooldown. Retaliation is kind of like if you get attacked, you get a shot at counterattacking when hit. Not super effective in my opinion, but it is a 2 artifact set, so keep that in mind. Now, it doesn't, I don't believe it stacks, but I could be wrong. If you have multiple sets of 2, like 3 sets of 2, I don't know if it stacks. So might need to do some additional research on that. But this is the big one, critical rate. This particular artifact, it's a 2-piece set, and you get to add 12% to your critical rate to whatever champion's equipped on. And if you equip 3 complete sets, it's going to stack. So keep that in mind. So we're going to jump in here to the battle. And like I said, I've already prepped my team. Now, this mode is kind of progression mode. You want to like get the dungeon to a point where you can farm it for decent artifacts. So what I did was I built a team with 2 support units and 3 attackers. I don't have any hit point or defense champs right now. I'm going to hide my camera and stuff so you can actually see what I'm doing, because I feel like it's in the way. So down here, I've got 5 champs that are ready to go. I have, what's her name again? I keep forgetting. Ashma. I have Kale. I have Valerie. Or, is that her name? I think it's Valerie, right? No, War Priest. I have War Priest. And then I have Marked. Ready to go. And then as another support unit, I have Mystic Hand. So you want to kind of build your team along those lines. Now I'm just using my ancient or my rare champs because that's what I have access to. I don't have any legendary champs. I only have the 1 epic attack champ. And as you can see, I haven't ascended her enough to get her aura. I don't even know if she has an aura. No, she doesn't have an aura yet. So, or at all, I should say. So what we're doing is we're just trying to progress the dungeon. And here you can see Super Raids is ticked on. So that means we're going to be using double the energy. So we're going to use 16 energy. And that's going to give us double the rewards. One thing I forgot to point out is down here at the bottom, there are some items you can earn for completing the dungeon. You can get ancient shard or mystery shards, ancient shards, XP potions, and silver. They don't drop a lot, but when they do drop, they're very nice to have because ancient shards are the first shard of all of the shards that you have a shot at getting a Lego on. Doesn't happen very often. I think it's like 1% of the time, but it's 1%, which is better than the mystery shards, which are just common and uncommon champs. So once again, we're going to start our team here. Try to put War Priest in the top slot there because she's going to help protect him. Then we'll put in Marked, we'll put in Kale, and then we'll put in Ashba. And then we just start the battle. The goal here is to, 1, level up your champs, 2, get some items that are better than just the white and the green. Doesn't happen very often, but you have to start somewhere. And the items that you get in the dungeons are generally better than what you get in campaign. Now with the ice golem, it's important. When he does that attack, he can actually revive his 2 little subordinates there. One way to deal with that is you get a champion that blocks revive, because if they kill these little assistants or these little lieutenants with a block revive, then the ice golem can't revive those guys, and it's much easier to fight the ice golem. Right now, we're just fighting a level 5 ice golem, and it's not real difficult. So there you go. It's as easy as that. So we picked up a defense-based shield, and we picked up a cursed set of boots. Now this is a 4-set artifact, or a 4-piece artifact set. It's only 1 star. Probably won't keep that. You want to, in the beginning game, you kind of want 3 stars or higher if you can get them. Shield, again, it's a rare, 1 star. Probably won't keep it. Nice thing is it's 2 artifacts per set, and you get a defensive boost of 15%. Awesome for low-level dungeons, especially if you equip them with your defensive nukers, because it stacks onto their defensive stat. I apologize. I do have a cough drop in my mouth. It's because I have a cough from chronic bronchitis. So you're going to hear me kind of swishing that around a little bit. So I apologize. But in the effort to prevent coughing, that's why I'm doing it. So we'll go back to the stage selection, and we're just going to keep going until we reach a level we can't continue. At that point, we'll go back out, we'll reevaluate our champs, and go from there. There we go. Okay, so looking at the screen, see this right here? This little sword with the wings? That is your tournament medals that you get. Dungeons, like, remember in my first or second video, I talked about how there's tournaments and there's different events that are important. Well, right now, in the tournaments section, there's an ice golem turn attack. So you want to defeat the ice golem in as few turns as possible. And that allows you to gain these resources on the right-hand side. As you advance your account from beginner to mid-game to late game, you have to attain higher tiers beyond the 1400. So it'll be like, maybe it'll be like 4600 or 4800 or 6000. Just depends where you are at on your account. My big account, for example, this same tournament, it's going to take me, I think, 4700 to win all of these right here on the right. But then you have your placing, first, second, third, and you get resources all the way down to 5th place. Now in the higher end tournaments, end game tournaments, you often earn resources all the way down to the 9th or 10th position, because it's much more competitive. So just keep that in mind as you're progressing your account, that this is the tournament that's going on right now. And it changes. Usually they have different tournaments every few days. Right here is a Soul Chase tournament that revolves around the Well of Souls and awakening your champs. You don't have access to that until your account reaches level 42. Mine is only level 16, so we have a ways to go. And then you have your playtime rewards. Collect those right away because you might lose them otherwise. So we'll go back into the dungeons, and I'm going to talk a little bit. Well, actually, we're going to go back out here. So that was kind of my progression team. And when I'm talking about progression, I'm talking about these dungeon progression type things. Right now, I have to work on the magic keep, which is the blue keep. So maybe we'll spend some time in there so you can see what that's all about. But you have to do all of these different keeps to complete this challenge. Artifacts, you have different things that you need to do for dungeons and campaigns. Looks like this is campaign. These are all campaign, so we're not going to worry about those right now. And then, of course, there's different champion rewards. This is the last one for this tier. I just need to win a campaign battle using 4 champions of level 20 or higher. So, how do I get champions that are level 20 or higher? Well, there's a couple different ways. One of the ways is farming campaign. But if you want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, you can go in here and you can farm the dungeons. Now, you won't get as much XP, but you will get better items. So that's something to keep in mind as you're leveling up your champions. So we're gonna keep going again, but this time we're kind of looking at it a different way. Well, I'm gonna try and level up these different champs so that way I can ascend them and get better champs or out of it, or make them better champs. But one of the strategies you can use is once you have a level 60 champion who can solo Ice Golem's Peak, you can drop 4 food champions with him because it doesn't matter if they die. You're just using them to level up to feed to your other champions. For example, my late game account right now, I generally use the nightmare level campaigns with Thor as my main farm champion, and then I pair him with 3 other lower level champions or lower ranked champions to level them up and then use them to rank up my good champions. That's the whole point. Rare champions are kind of the utility champion in this game. That's the best way I can describe it. Is early game, you're using them as your main champions, but eventually you're going to kind of move into epic champions like Ashma, because they pack a lot more punch than rare champions. So then your rare champions are going to want to like level up to 5 stars a little bit more frequently by feeding them your uncommon champions. And it's kind of like this whole cycle. You start from lowest to highest. So to level up your uncommon champions, the green champions, you use your common champions. To level up your uncommon or your rare champions, you use your uncommon champions. To and I should say not level up, but rank up. To rank up your epic champions, you're going to use your rare champions. And then, depending on how you play the game, you can either use your rare champions or your epic champions to feed your legendary and mythical champions. One thing that I strongly advise against is just feeding your champions willy-nilly. Have a plan. So right now, I'm trying to get Ashma and Kale to 5-star. Well, as you can see, I'm only level 27 with Kale, level 23 with Ashma, and I've got a ways to go. The best way to keep track of the math is if it's a 3-star character, level 30 is when you can ascend them. If it's a 4-star character or champion, at level 40 is when you can ascend them. To ascend them, you got to feed them other champions that are the same rank. So you don't want to feed your epics unless you got a really worthless epic. And you definitely don't want to use your legendaries as food. Legendaries are very hard to come by in this game without spending money. So if you're playing a free-to-play account, you're going to want to hold on to your legendary champions, either for faction guardians or, to build better teams. Now, we just lost our first battle against the Ice Golem, so we're going to go back out here. collect my free daily. So go in here, collect that. Now it's saying that I can actually equip artifacts for Aishma, so that's what we'll do. She doesn't have any artifacts on her right now, so let's see what's available. What did we earn? We've got some defensive artifacts. We're not going to use those. She's an attack champion. We've got one critical rate piece of gear. Now, something to keep in mind, there's some different strategies on building these champions. I like to build with full sets in mind. Other people say stat over set early game. Doesn't really matter. I generally look for the best stat. So we'll equip that because eventually I will get a second crit piece. But we like that 2% crit rate. So we're going to upgrade this. I'm going to go down here. I'm just going to run it to level 8. Mainly because this is a 2-star item. We're not going to waste all kinds of silver on it. Otherwise, it's just throwing money away. We're just using this to make her more effective in combat. So there's level 8. It double rolled on hit points. That kind of sucks, but, you know, it happens. Then we're going to actually, you know, because she has the potential to be a single target nuker, we're going to throw her in some speed armor here. Generally, I would like this if this was an attack percentage up on top. You can rework it once you get different ores to do that with. But we're just going to equip this for now. We're going to run this one up to level 8 to try and get that attack percentage up a little bit. And she has a little defense here, which is not a bad thing because she, you know, that's why she came up with something to as a recommended champ to improve and add artifacts to. But again, we're not going to spend all kinds of silver on this because we just don't know how good this piece is going to be. And early game, silver is a premium, so we got a little bit of attack, a little bit of survivability there. What other gear can we equip here? I'm just looking at 2-piece sets right now. I think we'll do... Oh, wait a minute. What do we got here? All right, actually, we're gonna equip this immortal set because it's a 2-piece set, and it gives 15% attack, or no, 15% hit points, but then the champion heals by 3% every turn. So we want to do that. Now this is a set that I would probably hold on to until I get some chaos ore, and then I would rework it to see what I can roll and adjust to. So we have resistance of 41. Resistance is always a good option because it helps block debuffs. So then we'll see what we can get for a roll on this one. We want to see that crit rate go up if we can. Legendary is awesome because it shows you all of the stats right there in front of you. We rolled speed. Double rolled speed, but that's okay. 16 speed bonus is not bad, but we want to try and get that crit rate up so that she can become a nuker. What else do we have here? Any other 2-piece sets that we can take advantage of? Maybe. Shield. Okay, we'll equip that shield. I'm going to equip these boots as well. But again, this is common artifact, so we're not going to spend all kinds of silver on this. We're just going to get it to level 8, and when it's time to replace it, we're just going to destroy it. Right now, we are using it for one reason and one reason only, to get her some bonus attack. That's all we need, is get her some bonus attack. Make her more effective against the golem. Keep an eye on this crit rate. Hopefully we can get that to roll up 1. There it is, 9%. That's nice. All right, so we got some more resistance, got a little bit of defense here, and then we got a little bit more crit rate. Again, right now, 31% crit rate isn't going to make much difference at all. But down the road, it might become very useful. Let's see if we've got something we can just throw in here for stat over set. There we go. So we'll see what we can do here. We're gonna try and push the crit rate. It's 1% because it's 1 star, so it's not gonna give us much at all. But down the line here in these substats, it might come in something useful. All right, so we got 10% extra crit rate. We got a little bit of attack here, a little bit of resistance. Not a great piece of equipment, but it'll work. Do we have any things that we can plug in here? No, we don't have any artifacts that we can use for her. But it did bump her up quite a bit, and now we've got 40% to crit rate. Still not great, but it's better than getting poked in the eye with a sharp stick. Kale, we're going to spend a little bit of silver here and upgrade him, because we want to advance the account. We want to progress on the ice golem, because progressing in the ice golem is going to give us better artifacts. It's going to give us a better shot at getting some of those ancient shards, and also it's going to give us a better shot at getting those XP potions, which come in handy down the road. Like if you have a champ that's really close to going up a level, you want to have a few potions so you can just kind of push them over the top. Wow. 3 straight fails in a row. Failed 5 out of 6. Accuracy is important for Kale because he drops poison on people. Poison is one of the best debuffs in the game. My personal favorite is HP burn, followed by poison. It's just automatic damage that stacks up throughout the battle. And the cumulative damage that results from that is invaluable. Okay, hopefully we'll get a second roll on crit rate. There we go. Nope, but we did get a 2% bonus on crit damage. That's fine. Because the upgrades for these artifacts is pretty low cost, I don't mind automatically leveling them up because it doesn't affect my silver up here at the top quite as bad. But down the road, it can get pretty expensive. So there we go. Picked up a little bit of defense, got speed bonus. That's not bad. It's not bad. What do we got for marked? I already have her with her 8s. War Priest is already at 8s, and Mystic Hand has already got all of his 8s as well. So we're set there. Now we're gonna go back in and see if we can keep moving through the Golem's dungeon. We'll do another couple levels of that, and then we'll switch. Magic Keep's not open. I take that back. I misspoke. I thought it was open. I guess not. You can open these, but it costs you 200 rubies. You don't want to spend your gems on this unless you have to. Keep your gems for a rainy day, as they say. Because you might want to just go ahead and use those gems to buy some ancient shards, or when you have enough of them, you can use those to buy scrolls for masteries for your champs. Already, Aishma's quite a bit better than she was before. Now, in campaign mode, if you're farming campaign, you have a chance to get different champions, which if you're trying to build your roster, it's not bad. Also, if you're trying to do some fusions, campaign is going to get you those champs that you need for the early fusions in the game. But for items, it's really best to go to dungeons. Now, can we beat him this time? Maybe. Sometimes you might want to just spot target the golem to kind of speed things along. Like if you're getting into trouble hit point wise. I don't have much of a reviver or a healer on the team. All I have is War Priest, and that kind of hurts towards the end of the battle. So we might lose this one again too. No. Well, all we need is one more hit. There it is. Hey, and we leveled up. Sweet. Demon Lord is now unlocked. We'll deal with the Demon Lord. We'll give him his own video. Hey, we got another critical hit item here. What is this worth? Probably not as good as the gloves that I already have on Ashma, so we're just going to leave that alone. And we're going to do one more battle here, and then we're going to switch gears, and we're going to go into the potion keeps to kind of talk about that a little bit. I don't know why my sound dropped out there. It just did. Again, I'm gonna force target the golem himself because right now I don't have the champs to really make it simple. If I had a burner or I had a nuker of some sort, like a wave nuker, it'd be a lot better, but I don't. But as you can see, the ice golem is poisoned twice. He has his attack down. He has his accuracy down. And there we go. Just that easy. And we did a little bit. That was our best round with him. So we get a little bonus here for the ice golem tournament. So we're gonna do one more. Because why not? That first battle, it always cuts it out. I don't know why. Again, we're going to force the issue and just target him directly. Seems to work a little bit better, I think. Rather than trying to target his little squibs there on each side. Because if you take him out, the other two don't matter. Ooh, she did a big shot right there. Now, there's some different strategies to address the nuker issue. You can build some of your support units as nukers. You can, play around a little bit like that. I generally don't. Uh-oh, we might lose this one. All we need is one more good hit. There it is. So we get, look at that, 26 more. 35 turns. Time wasn't as good, but 35 turns is not that bad. So we're going to go look at some of the potion keeps. So what does the potion keep do? It gives you these spirit potions that you use for ascending your champions. That's a key component of this game, is ascending your champions. You also have a chance to get mystery shards, ancient shards, and spirit XP potions. We're going to use the same team that we just used because it's pretty effective. The only downside is I have him. He's a force affinity. A force affinity, as you can see here, is weak to spirit. But I think with War Priest and my other characters in this group. See, Ashma, Kale, and Marked, they're all magic champions. Magic is stronger than spirit. So we'll probably be fine. Yeah. Kale just nuked that whole wave. The Spirit Keep is probably the easiest one to work through because she is really a no frills kind of boss. So like right there, 22 seconds, done and done. But now we can go in here. Oh no, we can't. Yeah, we can. We could set this up for like however many battles we want to run. I like to save these for when I'm running tournaments because then I can just set it and forget it. But we're going to do another one. And as you can see, my my Magic Affinity champs are kind of dominating here. I'm not going to get excited because it's only a level 5 dungeon. But that's only dropping lesser spirit potions. So we're going to move forward, go up to stage 2. Ideally, you want to get to a point where you can have a chance at all 3 types dropping. I think that starts at level 18 or 19. But this is all the progress your champs. All the progress your champs. We're in progression mode. Progressing your champs progresses your account, which lets you unlock better champs, better opportunities at champs, and better artifacts and accessories. So we'll do one more. This is stage 3. This one I think is still the lesser potions, but you might have a shot at getting multiple lesser potions. Now, the reason I have to run this team is because I don't have any bona fide nukers. Kale is the only one I really have. Ashma, I think, is kind of a single target nuker. But as you can see, level 3, we got 3 lesser potions. I'm going to go back out here. Let's see where we can get some of the better potions. Yeah, so stage 4, you have a chance at getting greater spirit potions. And then at level 8, you have a small chance at getting a superior spirit potion. And these are used again. We'll go back out to the tavern. And down here where it says ascend, go in here. Yes, I already know this, Arbiter. Yep. So let's ascend War Priest. Since I have enough potions, we have enough, it looks like, to do 2. Nope, just the 1. So we'll ascend her. And that buffs her a little bit. It's nothing crazy, but it makes her a little bit more robust. Let's see if we can actually do Kale. No, I don't have enough potions for Kale or anybody else. Just her. So we'll go down here. Okay. Cleared stage 3 of the Spirit Keep. Done. We'll claim those 3 potions. We'll go over here. We'll claim our rewards for the day and the week. Now, I'm going to kind of show you what I'm talking about as far as farming the different levels here. So I've only progressed in campaign through level 3, but we're supposed to get 3 weapons from stage 1 of the Arnox Tours. Well, I know I know Kale can solo this level. So we're going to leave him by himself, and then we're going to bring in our food champions, so to speak. And we are going to go with, let's just go with these 3. They're all level 3. They're just there. It doesn't matter if they die. We're just trying to get them leveled up so that way we can use them to eat the other champions, the lower level champions, to eventually level him up and upgrade his rank. So we're just going to go in here and we're going to start. There. And we're already to the third end thing here. Now, if Kale can do an AoE, it should be all over. Just depends on if he's recharged or not. There it is. Piece of cake. So we got 1 weapon. So we'll go back out here. Okay, we know that we need 3 weapons. So I'm going to just set this to auto 5. And then I'll be back after those 5 battles are done, and we'll see where we're at. All right, so we are back. As you can see, I got my 3 axes that I needed to complete the campaign mission. So we'll go back out here. We'll claim that. There we go. Now I want to talk a little bit about the kind of the idea of team building. All right. So I'm going to bring my camera back on so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So a progression team, generally, if you have the champs available, you want to try to have 1 buffer and 1 reviver, a defense or HP nuker to clear the waves, and then a single target nuker for the boss. And then you have like 1 extra kind of swing slot there that you can have be a new HP or a defensive nuker or another single target nuker. Early game, I like having HP or defense nukers because if the first nuker doesn't take out the first wave, the waves entirely, the second one can come through and finish it off. That's why I do that. So 1 reviver, 1 buffer, 1 or 2 HP. Excuse me. We'll try that again. So 1 buffer, 1 reviver, 1 or 2 HP nukers and defense nukers, and then 1 single target nuker for the boss. That's just the way that I like to run it for progression, and it works pretty well for me. But the beauty of this game is that you can combine different teams, whatever different ways you want. For a farming team, you want to build for specific levels and different affinities. So we're going to take a look at the golem levels just real quick. If I can get over to the right thing here. So we go to the dungeons. And we'll go to Ice Golem's Peak. As you can see, each stage... Ice Golem's Peak, for each stage, you have a different affinity. You have Spirit, you have Magic, you have Force, and then you have Void. And then that cycle repeats itself. So you want to build your team specifically for those stages. So the bulk of your champs will want to be, for example, stage 1, you'll want Magic, or you're going to want Void, or you're going to want Spirit champions. For Magic, you want Force primarily, or you want Void. And then, of course, Magic champions as well, because they're the same affinity, no benefits, no penalties. And then for Force, obviously you want more Spirit champions and Void and Force champions. So that's kind of like you want to build for those specific affinities. That's one way to build for a farm team. Generally speaking, for artifact farming, and I touched on this a little bit, 2 support champs, either a reviver and a buffer, double reviver, your choice. Generally speaking, when you get into the higher levels, like hard, you're going to want to maybe even run 3 support champions. But then you really need to build your hit point and defense nuker so that they can dish out maximum damage. And then for the single target nuker, same thing. You want them to dish out maximum damage, because the other 3 champs in your group are support. They're going to either be buffers, they're going to be debuffers, they're going to be revivers, they're going to be healers. And so you need to have like those damage dealing champions kind of really benefit from having those types of champs in your group. But we'll go back to normal here, because we're not anywhere near that. We've got 25 other stages to get through before we get to that point. But that's all I got for you tonight. Thank you for stopping by and checking out the video. If you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button and follow. That way you won't miss a single video when it drops. I'm John Cow, and these are just introductory videos. They're not meant to be late game videos. Not yet. But we'll get there. We'll get there someday. So, as always, be safe, be kind, and remember, no matter who you are, no matter where you are loved and you do matter. That's all I got. Have a great night, everybody.